Out of every Marvel Snap archetype, I've played by far the most junk or clog. There's a reason some of my best splits are this, or even this. But I've stumbled upon the best junk deck since a nihilist could send over debris rocks, and I want to share it with you. So Deadpool League kicked off and everyone was grinding for the Deadpool emote. You had to finish top 3 of 30 players, and I just got off work Thursday, so I start playing. I start with the Kate deck I put in this video, then my custom Zabu deck in this one, and eventually I land on an Ajax Hazmat deck that a lot of players are hyping up, and it has a lot of great junk elements along with this move package. And sadly, I'm just not climbing as fast as the rest. But luckily, my deck dealer, aka my twin brother, shows me a deck he found on Twitter from Crazy M Snap, and this is my favorite deck of the season so far. And he hits rank number 1 on this deck, so surely it's gotta be good. Here's the list. So it looks counterintuitive when you first see it, but let me explain. You have normal clog cards like Titania, White Widow, Green Goblin, and Doc Ock, which I think is actually better now, which is a hot take. Like, you have higher highs with the old Doc Ock, but you also had lower lows, and this one feels a little more calculated. But we also have Kate Bishop, who can add to the clog or also just give good utility. While Shadow King, Shang-Chi, and Killmonger are all here to counter pretty much every deck. I think a lot of people are confused with Killmonger because you have Titania, you have Kate Bishop's arrows, you're just going to get rid of those? Well, Killmonger is really important in this deck because it counters the ever-present Zoo decks in the meta right now. And you're not really playing Titania till later in the game anyways. Along with, if you identify that you're going to have to use your Killmonger, you don't have to play Kate Bishop's arrows until you do. But yeah, if it's a bounce or Thena, good cards list, you Shadow King. The Zoo or Ultron list, you Killmonger. And then the crazy big cards, we have Shang-Chi. We even have Casanova for like Arishem or Loki. But we have our own Loki because it's just a great card right now. But you have to know the matchups to play him in. Usually a good rule of thumb is if you think to yourself, I need Shadow King or Killmonger or Cass to win this matchup, and I haven't drawn them, don't Loki. But if you don't need anything, you're usually good to play it. So yeah, essentially the gameplay is clog one lane, and then in the next lane, go big with Cass, Sage, Loki, or other stuff to win. And lastly, subs are tough with this list because I really just love it as it is so much. But for Sage, you could go something that you get big value on turn 6, maybe like Gladiator, but you could even go with Wolfsbane since it gets the Ravonna discount and gets decent power as well. And then Kate is a really good card, but if you had to sub it out, I just put in another good 2-drop, like maybe a Jeff, US Agent, or Quake. But yeah, I get into the games and here's how it goes. So here's a game where my opponent plays Pixie, and right as I play Loki, he plays Mobius, which I should have expected, but I play Beta Ray Bill in Kiln, as does he, and once again mirror each other, dropping a Vision. I know he has that big red Hulk in hand, so I actually make the read here. He plays it right and doesn't move anything mid, and we get the dub. So the next game, I'm going against the ever so popular Zoo deck. I go for a clog in the right lane with White Widow and then Doc Ock, and I don't drop Loki because I am really trying hard to draw Killmonger. And what do you know, on turn 5, my patience is rewarded and we draw him. So we go hard mid to make it look like he has a chance, and then we let Killmonger fly. And yeah, those wins feel really good. And in my Deadpool League grind, I make it to infinite like, what, day 3, maybe day 4 in the season, and I end up in first place going into the night. But then I wake up the next morning to a bit of a surprise. I've been bumped down to 3rd, and it's by a lot. I don't know how these guys got so many points, but apparently you can farm cubes with people in the Proving Grounds. But I continue to grind the ladder games since 1, the exploit sounds really boring to do, and 2, it wouldn't really feel like I earned the emote if I did the exploit. And it's also a little harder to climb now because instead of climbing up to infinite with a mix of bots and real people, I'm sitting in like the 500s in infinite, but the deck keeps performing. We got another Marvel Boy Zoo gamer, and I clog left with Green Goblin and Doc Ock, but their board looks so much better than mine. I hold off on my Loki since I want to draw Killmonger, and I play Shadow King on the right just to get him out of my hand, and also to get some value with him because I don't want him to get pulled out by Grand Central. But of course Grand Central pulls Loki from my hand, and this is the conclusion to the game. So yeah, I think Titania is one of the hardest 1-drops to play, but also in turn one of the best. Like, she wins games. And I'll warn you, sometimes if you don't Killmonger till the last turn, surprises like this can happen. Then the last game I thought was really good, so we will go over it a bit slower. We get Dream Dimension, which sucks, but then we get Strange Academy, and finally Central Park, which is pretty good for a clog deck. We start clogging Dream Dimension, and Viper shoots our Widow's Kiss back over, so we're the ones that get clogged. We then continue to clog him up with Doc Ock, and we pull a Pym arrow. We get Cast Nova on the left, and he thinks he's won this lane. So I snap back and put 8 cubes on the line and Killmonger on turn 5 to free up the board, but also to try to mess his up. After the board has been cleared, we have White Widow mid, and that is a little spooky for us because the Widow's Kiss could clog us up on the left once again, but after their Rocket Raccoon gets a nice 4 power, Doctor Strange Academy ends up pulling our Widow's Kiss right, which is all we could ask for. And then the final turn looks a little something like this. And that's an 8-cuber. I actually stopped playing there. I planned to grind till the end of the event, but they announced everyone was gonna get the Deadpool emote, so I was good, and I end up dropping to 4th, but there wasn't really a difference between 3rd and 4th anyways. But the takeaways is, I think this is the best Junk has felt in a while to me, and I think Deadpool League wasn't that great, but I had reservations about stuff like Deadpool's Diner and Alliances, and they all ended up being fun in the end, so hopefully when the Jeff League event comes out in a couple of weeks, it will be fun. But you know I'm gonna be grinding for that Jeff emote. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see ya in the next one. Bye!